There's a story behind these I'll get into. It's funny as fuck.
Sweet, because I was going to say they look brand new. Like, I know there's people who keep good care of their shoes, but like there's a difference between brand new and well taken care of.
Man, come on. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Today we got my buddy Morgan in studio, and we're just here to kick shit today. We're going to keep it old school. Got a lot of 90s hip hop, got a lot of people out here who are busting their ass, making connections, talk about some Tacoma royalty. But just to start it off, I'll let the man introduce himself and what we're doing here today.
What's up, y'all? First off, gotta show some love for Spencer, my guy. Met him in the parking lot from Myers. That was a fun encounter. Always showed love. You know, been in contact here and there. People get busy, but he hit me up at the podcast. Love the opportunity to come on here, share some Tacoma hip hop history, show some love for some of my boys, for my brother, for the skateboard you see right here. We'll get into all this later. We got some fun props. We got a boombox, fun shit. We got tapes, and we're just gonna have a good time, man.
Beautiful. Actually, let's get into that, how we met, because for those of you who don't know, I used to be in Amway, and one of the main things you do for Amway is you essentially go out and you just meet random people. This is sounding a little dubbed up in my ears. Yeah, there we go. That's clear. Thank you. I ended up just meeting him in the middle of a parking lot, introduced myself, and was seeing what he was up to. But I'd love to hear it from your perspective, because I know it could be weird being approached by a stranger in a parking lot.
Well, it depends on the person in the parking lot, right? First off, I felt like I was in a very safe parking lot at the Fred Meyers in University Place. You know, not that scary, not a lot of threats there. But my guy Spencer chopped it up with some Volkswagen talk. That's always love. If someone starts talking about Volkswagens, you own one, that's like immediate bond. So, you know, we start chopping it up. Life. He was telling me about his business, but it was very polite, good etiquette, very well mannered, very easy to communicate with. And unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to really get into the business venture with him, but I know he talked a lot of good stuff about it. It sounded like it was doing very well for him. And could tell from the jump that, you know, Spence was a solid one. So time passed, you know, we all got caught up with COVID. Things go by, but I see Spencer doing this. I was actually supposed to link up with him sooner. You know, I'm glad I still got a chance to get on here. But man, I'm very excited for this. I'm happy to see what he's doing, the versatility, the different guests he's bringing on here. Like I said, it's a blessing to get on here, kind of just talk some shit.
And so when we met, what were you doing professionally?
Okay, on the record, I do work for the state of Washington in the social justice field. Don't need to get into specifics, but I have been working for the state for 15 years now, believe it or not. You know,
Sweet.
And the state's been good to me. Met some great people, and I feel in my field of work, I actually give back to the community,
awesome.
And which I think has kept me going as a motivator, and I feel good about doing. Because there's always instances where people need help, but they don't know how to get it, and if you can fill that void, really make that difference in their life, they can be productive, start doing things on their own independently, and really just, you know, kind of need that little kickstart, right? And if you can do it for someone, that makes the biggest difference in a life.
So I would assume you're on like the social worker side of things?
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's good for you, because, you know, there's I think it's fair to say there's not enough people in the world who, you know, I won't say don't take others into consideration,
right.
But you're right, man. There are people out there who are doing their best and still can't get by, and they do need a hand. So thank you for your work, man. That's a big deal.
Hey, likewise.
So what really interests me the most about you is the low life. Like, I know you are about that, and I think that's probably the best place to start. So where did your fascination with Polo start?
Okay, so we got to take it back to like 94, 95.
Beautiful.
We're going to go on a time warp right here.
Make you feel old. That was the year I was born.
I'm not sure what high school is like for y'all, but if you're rocking the Polo in high school, you were the man. You know what I mean? You either were doing your thing, you got rich parents, or you're really doing your thing. You're hyping it up. You know, like, I'm fucking with this cat. He's got the low. He's probably got the low rider. He's getting the car, bumping the bass, listen to some of this bomb-ass West Coast like I brought. But back then, the culture was so different and limited because we didn't have access to the internet, and it wasn't so widestream as it is now, right?
You had to go search it out.
Absolutely. And we would see it through the media, through artists like Nas. There's a group called the Cellar Dwellers. There's so many different artists, you know, Wu-Tang. You would see them floss on the Polo, and they would have the illest pieces. Like, fuck, I need that, man. Nordstrom back in the day used to carry all that.
Yeah.
Macy's still does carry some, but the low selection they used to have back in the day, the props, the mannequins with the crazy fits, and just the fucking
was
the
that
variety.
When it was the Bon Marché?
Exactly. With the waterfall and the spiral staircase.
Yep. Good old days, man. My mom still calls it the Bon Marché.
Come on. Yeah, that's memories. But no, that's how I first got attracted to the lure. And to be quite honest with you, just the fit, like I said, the floss, knowing that, like, okay, you got some money, you're really on some player shit if you got the low. And, you know, we used to have to have different tactics because you don't make a lot of money, bro. Like I was making $4.93 working Little Caesars.
Oh man!
I mean, back in '96, and that wasn't really supporting that habit.
Right.
So we had to come to different measures to get it, and it would
Slinging
work.
pizza
And
for the pieces.
come on, bro. Yeah. Well, yeah. That was one thing we were doing to get them, but you learn throughout hip hop. There's a very famous artist, kind of the pioneer of the low life's most known artist, and mad love, mad respect to Thurston Howell III. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him or not.
Up in New York.
Exactly. He's relocated to Florida. He has family out there. He's been out there for quite a while now. But there's still other cats, pioneers that are floated with him. Mad love to Rack Low. He's another big OG.
Smoke Diz is the one who really gave me my intro. And he always talks about Thurston Howell.
He was heavy, and that's all those New York cats. If you look right, so. And the thing that kind of pisses me off about the whole low-life culture on the West Coast, like, we don't have a lot of cats that really rock it like that. I think that it's definitely much more rooted in the East Coast. But they get better pieces out there, man. Like, I'm seeing dudes on social media at a TJ Maxx with these crazy power pieces. Like, fuck, we don't even get that at Macy's, and you're getting it at TJ Maxx for like $30. Like, dude, come on. So... And it's not even just limited to the States now. You can see cats doing this overseas. There's cats in Mexico. There's cats in London. There's cats in South America. Yes.
I haven't seen too much international, to be honest.
Yeah. I can definitely share some of that with you. But it's branching out. And like I said, it's because of the access to the web now, right? Now that everyone can kind of see it, which is kind of good and kind of bad. Because I feel like cats, like, they just get on that hype.
Yeah. They get spoon-fed, and it opens the door to everyone. Mm-hmm. You're not searching for it. It's getting sent to you.
And there was such a long time where Ralph actually was losing money. Like, he was definitely killing it back in the day with the gear and the profits. And there's a time where the motherfucker was almost bankrupt, bro. But like, it came back. There's a huge resurgence, I would say, like in the mid to 2015, 2020s.
And who would you credit that to? The hip hop community or just the youth?
I'd say always definitely a hip hop community. But I think like, my thing is too, and as we've seen with a lot of different styles, they've come back around.
Right, because I think that right about 2010, 2011 is when I started dipping my toe, and by no means was I a low head, but that sounds about right.
Right. And then I think there were books that came out. Thurston Howell wrote a book, Bury Me with the Low On, which is a very difficult book to get. If you get it, man, hold on to that shit. That's magic, bro.
What was that
called? Bury Me with the Low On.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then his prodigy, the other big low life OG Rack Low's got a book. I'm blanking the name of it right now. Low Life: An American Story. And that shit, hardcover, full pictures. It's got the story about what these cats used to do in the streets. And a lot of cats don't know this, man. It was dangerous to wear that polo back in the day. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know how cats were, I'm not sure if you guys heard about like what was going on with the starter jackets back in the day. Cats were getting jumped by gang members for the starters. That was like the low on the East Coast.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah, like it was definitely more West Coast gangster, East Coast gangster had their own type of vibes. And over there, it was the low, over here was a starter.
Interesting. Dude, this is what interests me the most about it, because like I there's a lot of clothing brands I love, but like the real brands that I'm in love with usually have a story behind it. And like more than anything, bro, I love to hear you talk about how the low culture, it's not just a brand of clothing to you, like the ins and outs, everyone who played a part in it, like just anyone who can take an interest like that in one thing specific, like I fucking love it. I love hearing people talk about what interests them,
bro. And it's about throwing out the fly spread too. It's not like you can just wear polo. You gotta have the fit, man. It's like you get the shirt, you gotta get the fly pants to go with it. You gotta get the fly shoes to go with it.
And to be honest, dude, the high tech pants, I was checking those when you walked in. Those are hard.
These were a come up, bro. Yeah.
Where'd you pick those up at?
I don't even want to tell you, man. I can't give all one extra player cards. No. This is actually real funny though, because these retailed $215, right? I paid $40 for these at TJ Maxx in Kent.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, just going around, I did the thrifting thing for a while. I still go sometimes. I found some cool pieces, nothing super crazy, but some cool shit, some older shit. But I've like really found the most pieces randomly, like at a Burlington Coat Factory on clearance, some store like up when what's the one that's just closed down up in Seattle? Was that not Bloomingdale's, Barney's? I'm blanking a name. They closed about a year ago. Saks Fifth Ave. Is that what it was?
It might be. That's a little rich for my blood, so I don't know that. Was there a Saks Fifth up in Seattle?
Right there in Westlake.
Oh, okay. That actually
right
makes
in the
sense.
Westlake Center where that mall is connected to that mall. I believe that's where it was. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, everyone, please correct me. Let's get the right store in place. But yeah, I found most of my stuff either through rent and in person at those type of stores, right? But I've also done what I call digital digging. Get on eBay, get on other apps like Depop, Poshmark, Etsy, and cats sleep on some of those.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like there's so much out there, and if you know what you're doing, you can find the good deals. You can make some bargains with some people, and if you find good sellers that consistently have it, they'll start breaking you off with some better prices. So
right, we'll try and keep it a little low because I know my guys don't want me, giving out the plays. But
no, I'm not even tripping.
We were doing. I was doing the thrifting for a while, and I had quite a few come ups through like Ross, Goodwill, like even at the Value Village over there on 19th or whatever. I found a pair of friends and family. They were Stan Smiths, but they were the Microsoft Xbox 360. Like when they dropped, there was 15 pairs that were made for friends and family. And one of them showed up brand new to that store, and I found them, like I seen them and I'm like, I've never seen these before. Look, couldn't find them anywhere, and eventually I like found a story from like the EA festival they do every year to like showcase their games and stuff.
Right,
like
Electronic Arts,
they were
NBA 2K.
Yeah, they were like debuted there, and that was the only thing I could find on them, and they ended up selling for like $450 or something like that. Like,
but what'd you pay?
I think I paid like $19.99 or something like that. But like,
that's cold. That's good. Yeah.
What I'm getting at is like there is so much money on those sites. There's so many people who like they just find a pair of shoes that were maybe their kids who have left the house now, and they find it in the garage and they just throw it up there for a quick $15, and they're quite possibly $200 shoes. Their mom may not know, but I don't want to spread the word too wide because it eats into the inventory, but. If you're into making money in clothes, you should be on those sites checking them out. There's a lot of good stuff out there.
And I would like to chirp in a little bit too. And just the thing is, like, I think it's been a great opportunity for people to be independent and make money. It's like they can just hustle gear. They're going to the thrifts, paying little, and they're able to flip it, and it's a fair price. I don't think that oftentimes the people, the stuff that we're selling is out of control.
No.
People will work with you, and that's going to establish relationships and have the business last longer. But hey, that spot you just mentioned, I've come up with some good shit there.
Yeah.
Man, the Ken Griffey Jr., where are the Sweetwaters that just came out? The 24s. You know what I'm talking about? Okay.
Pull them up. We got the producer.
I'm going to show you the pair I found. Not the ones that just came out, but look for these in the suede brown with the gum sole.
All right. What was that one more time?
The Ken Griffey Jr. Sweetwater brown suede gum sole. See if those will pop up for you.
I don't know what the Sweetwaters are.
You see the brown ones on the left? Go down. Right there. Yeah.
Ooh.
I found those guys at that same spot.
Shut up.
Oh yeah, and they were clean too. I was tripping. They were a little big for me, but I bought them anyway and plugged my homemade because I know that like he's a collector and he'd really like those. But it's pretty silly, right? Because I feel like it's a clean shoe.
Actually, at that same spot too. The what was?
Oh look, $199. I think I paid $7 for them.
Oh my god.
Not to come up like you with those Adidas though, man. Come on.
That was like a once in a lifetime come up kind of thing. What are the Nikes? So you remember Yeezys, Air Yeezy? The soles that were on that, I'm trying to remember. They were on, I cannot remember the name of this shoe. Look up, I'm drawing a blank. I don't even remember. I don't know. They actually just released not too long ago, and they came in this hot lava colorway. But I found a pair of them there, and I thought they were stupid. I'm drawing a blank, so it's
There's some Nikes?
Yeah, they were, I'm fucking drawing a blank, bro. I don't know, but I was super into them. I should have bought them, and I let them slip by. But that's the name of the game. Someone else picked them up. You missed that
pair, you get a better pair next time.
Yeah, they weren't there next week, so someone wanted them more than I did.
Those probably weren't there that next hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Thing is, too, like, you being part of the thrift culture, understanding it, buying some things, it's gotten so crazy. You go to the Goodwill now, there's lines outside the store to get in at opening.
It's
like,
trendy.
Who would have thought that?
It's trendy now.
Yeah.
Like, my grandma laughs at me. She's like, your mom begged me to never see another thrift store. That's where we did our shopping. Right? That was, that was where we shopped. And so I'm like, yeah, I found this at a thrift store. She's like, and I told my mom, I'm like, yeah, I got this at a thrift store. She's like, your grandma would be so proud. But have you ever, so what are your thoughts on the conversation of like people like us who, or actually maybe I won't put you in that because you're definitely more of a collector than I consider myself, but like if I find a piece at a thrift store that I think is worth much more than what they're charging, I cop it and then I flip it on the market for something. What are your thoughts? Because like I get people who are always like no, those clothes are strictly for the underserved class and this and that. Like this is like we're taking away from somebody. This isn't for you. You shouldn't be able to buy this and do whatever you want with it. Like this is for the underprivileged people who need to shop here. Like have you ever heard that argument?
I haven't. And so to like completely just drop a bomb on that argument, you know who owns Value Village, right?
No, who?
Walmart.
Really?
Same family. So like Walmart, this giant conglomerate making big money, and Walmart's crazy, dude. But if they own Value Village, what are their intentions? You think they're trying to serve a different class that can only afford that? Dude, they're trying to get their money, bro.
And if we take even one step further back, if anyone examines the business model of a Goodwill or a Value Village, it's fucking genius. You get a tax write-off for donating this stuff to my company. We're not going to pay you for it. You bring it to us. We'll sort it, and if there's something valuable there, we'll take it and we'll sell it.
That's
Thank
the biggest
you.
hustle.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
they just said all they have to pay for is essentially, the location, and come drop it off to us, and we'll get this business up and running in no time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, everyone goes crazy for a deal, so...
The homie Kuba was on here. Shouts out to Kub, man. I've seen him down at the bins before.
Yeah.
I could go into the bins. It's just like, it's so filthy there.
Yeah.
Smokers everywhere. I legit, and this is why I threw Kub's name to this, because he's probably seeing it. He's there way more often than I have been or ever will be, because that's his thing. And, Kub's a player, bro. He's doing his thing.
He's on a mission.
Yeah. Anyways, I've seen some fistfights break out in there. It's fucking crazy.
Are you
like
serious?
people, like, yeah, dude, like security came and held that shit. Their smokers is going crazy or some bullshit, or cats trying to get this shirt, like putting hands on each other. It's like, dude,
That's
whoever would have
nuts.
thought.
Yeah, I think I've done the bins maybe once or twice, and I was not cool with grabbing underwear by accident or whatever the fuck else.
I can count one hand how many times I went to the bins.
Yeah, I don't. I'd rather let someone else sort through it and put the good stuff up and me find that than go and really find the bottom of the barrel stuff. But there has been some come ups there, I think. But
Crazy come ups, man.
Just not my style. But Hootie,
Not to knock anyone though, know what I'm saying?
no, for
Do
sure.
your
But
thing, everyone.
as long as I've known Hootie, he has been just running up numbers when it comes
Savage.
to the thrift. Like, as long as I remember, he was one of the first people who like introduced me to what collecting was. He's got like bins and tubs in this garage of just like anything you could think. It's not even just clothes, but he's got board games, he's got ties, he's got whatever. If it played a part in history, he's got his hands on it.
No limits.
And that's the stuff I appreciate, man.
Hey, it's all about the preservation of the culture and the history, because that shit's gonna be gone one day.
So how much did hip hop play a role in introducing you to Low, or at least like expanding your horizon?
I wouldn't even say just Low, just life in general, bro. Hip hop was pivotal to me as a young man.
I have the same story.
Man, how old were you when you heard your first rap song? Do you remember, or the first song you heard?
I don't specifically remember that, but here's a good memory I'll give you. In 6th grade, I bought my first CD, and it was Ryan Dirty, Chameleonaire.
Great one. Good one to start with,
I would slap it, and I hung out with I always kind of hung out with weird people. And this specific group was like into like the Ramones and the Who and like punk rock and stuff. And I never really got into it, so I'm bumping my Chameleonaire, and they're like, "Dog, we don't listen to this. You can't bring this around."
They were not about that life.
I'm like, well, I'm sticking to my guns, and it's I've always let whatever listen, but if it's on my phone, it's more than generally it's gonna be rap. I don't got anything else on my phone.
It's hard to walk away from it once you got into it. Know what I mean? And I do like some of the original beats, like where they sampled this stuff from. You think of some of the classic songs, know what I mean?
Yeah,
like some Earth, Wind, and Fire, some Bee Gees, some Hall and Oates, and it's cool. Like you hear it on the radio, like, oh, I didn't know that's where that came from. You know? So you kind of vibe out to that. But 5th grade, DJ Quick is the name.
Nice.
I borrowed the tape, and then I got my hands on some Sir Mix-a-Lot, some NWA, really, really older shit, bro. But
and you grew up here in Washington your whole life?
Yeah. I grew up. It's considered Midland.
Okay.
But I'm right there on the borderline. So you're familiar with the demographics of Tacoma. East side Tacoma. What would you consider that?
East side.
What streets would you say? Like, what's one that jumps into your head?
It's got to start somewhere between. I guess 38th would probably be the jump.
38th is good. I would say True East Side, Emerald Queen Casino, 32nd.
Okay.
All the way up to 72nd, I think was pretty solid in the
that
surrounding
sounds
area.
like a good range.
And I grew up off of 80th, which is 8 blocks down the road, but right there in that cusp. So like 8 blocks one way, it's straight east side Tacoma shit popping. 8 blocks the other way, you're seeing some goats, some horses. So it's kind of interesting.
Oh, so literally like
ground.
Farmland.
Yeah,
you're just okay.
Right around there, because the summer summits right before you get to Puyallup, and then like before Parkland. Like I went to Franklin Pierce High School.
Okay.
Weird school, especially the time I went a long time ago, but yeah. But you know what? They got a killer hoop team now. I'll tell you what.
Really?
You guys follow high school sports at all?
Honestly, no. And basketball is like my least. Actually, I just watched. What was it? The Suns. I just watched my first basketball game, I think, in my lifetime. Like, I put the basketball game on myself and watched it, and that was the Suns game.
And props too, because that was a good one. It
was.
I'll admit, I was a huge hoop fan coming up, and hoops changed for me over the years, and I've kind of fallen off, and I've got more into football, fantasy football. That shit makes it so much more fun interacting doing it that way. But reason I was talking about Franklin Pierce, and also I want to give props right now leading to one of the things I brought. There's some business cards up there. One of my good friends, great friends from Tacoma, Mr. Joshua L. Barsh. He's actually the head coach at Foss High School for their varsity basketball team. He owns his own food truck, which he's in the process of getting right now. Owns a catering business. This man kicks amazing fun. Yeah, the story behind it, 7 sons. He's the oldest of 7 sons. He's 6 younger brothers, man. Imagine that. No, good guy, man. And, I go watch him coach, support, and I've seen them beat FP. I've seen FP beat them, but great man right there. Watch for this guy on Instagram. We can give you his information here in a second before it shows over or whatever.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah. That's a person you need to be fucking with if you're from the town, man, especially like good food. So, but
that's awesome.
Good
man.
Vibes in general. So yeah, just props to him. Thought that'd be a nice little segue talking about.
Yeah, for sure. What kind of food does he make?
This guy's making soul food, but he makes whatever, dude. I'll tell you what, man. I'm kind of his guinea pig. Me and my girl will go to his house because he wants to learn all kinds of stuff. But I would say this guy, his barbecue is on point, man. You're not really? Getting better than that.
You don't get a lot of good barbecue out here,
especially from the West Coast, right? Yeah.
Right.
And, he has roots in Oklahoma City. That's where his family's from, and there's real good barbecue out there. That's like one of the bomb spots. Yes. I mean, this guy even goes as far. I don't want to give secrets away, but he gets a blend that's family specific. You're not getting out here in Washington.
Really?
That shit, man.
Interesting. So let me ask you this: like, what are the mechanics behind? Not that it's your food truck, so maybe you don't know this, but what are the mechanics behind a food truck? Like, I don't. From everyone I've heard, they're like really borderline profitable, but it is good to get out and move around and have a mobile kitchen.
Absolutely.
Is that like, what do you think the trade-offs are there?
Well, I think for me, with anything, you have to have a product that's going to set yourself aside from other vendors, right?
True.
You know what I mean? And there might be some people that are doing barbecue food trucks or whatever, but is his barbecue better? Is it different? Is it going to have more options besides specifically barbecue too? Because you might be able to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to get crazy. What if I did like some smoked fried rice? You know what I mean? Like use some smoked beets and some fried rice, through the fried rice in the smoker, maybe for just a little bit to get that smoky flavor. Like,
I don't think
does that sound appealing to you though? Like, would that be bomb?
Well,
yeah, that's just like one example.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
yeah,
okay,
but that's something that my boys fucked with, bro, and it's fire. And I don't want to give all his recipes away, but he's got some shit, bro.
Sweet.
And not just with the smoking, the sides, the salads, the greens. I mean, you name it. Chicken, pork, beef. This guy.
Sweet.
He's one you want to be fucking with.
We definitely got a good culinary class over here. But there's a lot of people coming up.
The other thing, though, sorry, I did kind of evade the question and started, getting the homeboy a lot of props. But as far as the food truck goes, you got to have good real estate, right? Where are you going to park it? Where's good traffic? People are going to see and stop that are hungry, Then also getting the food truck up off the ground itself. You want to make sure you have something that's reliable. You want some roach code just breaking down or, just sketchy and old. So it's about really having a good team too. I think people that trust you, trust your vision, they're going to support you either financially or through the business, however they can, in what aspect, right? But yeah. And I think it starts with the passion though, like you're saying. You know what I mean? It's like, that's a big jump for anyone.
You got to be crazy enough to buy a truck and go slaying food out of it.
Come on.
That ain't easy.
But it's also confidence too, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, if I don't take that risk, like, I'm feeling good about myself knowing I can really do this shit. So,
right.
Like with any big risk in life.
Is he a chef by like career, or is this like a side venture?
Self-taught through family.
Congratulations.
Like I'll tell you what though, this guy's been cooking ever since I know him, man. Like this might sound funny to some people, but one of the bombest things I had, and this was years ago, and me and my buddy were kicking it, and we worked at Western State Hospital at the time years ago.
Okay.
And he made this, dude. To shit you not, it might sound funny, but it was Dorito casserole is what I would call it.
Okay.
It was like crushed Doritos at the top throughout it, cheese, chicken, other seasoning. Like, dude, it sounds like so bad,
Yeah,
like,
it almost sounds like some prison food, but it sounds fire.
Dude, if you try it, it's gonna change it, man. You'll understand. Like, you won't look at Doritos the same again.
Hey, quick tangent. You said Western State Hospital. Is that the one that sits on top of the hill?
That's the one that's torn down. It's the one on the ground.
Oh, okay.
The big brick guy.
Because like every time we drive past that, my girl would say like, "Oh, there's the haunted."
It's not even there anymore.
Did you know that was
man.
Amazon's first HQ?
Where?
The Western State Hospital. They bought that. I think they bought out like the first 6 floors. That was their first. Well, not their first HQ,
really?
but their first like legitimate HQ. No. I think they bought that. Look it up. I want to say they bought it in like '96.
That's interesting because I had no idea about that.
I had no idea either. I started looking into it because I'm like, it can't just be sitting there totally vacant. Something has to be happening. And they were renting out like the bottom.
Throughout the years, I know there was damage from the earthquake that happened years ago, back like in the year 2000, and some of the buildings were like condemned due to safety issues, and they were eventually tore down. So I'm not sure.
That makes sense.
Maybe Amazon was using one of those. I've never heard that before, so I'm kind of curious to see about this myself.
I could be wrong. It's not looking like it. Look up Amazon's first HQ or something like that. Amazon HQ Hospital.
Maybe it was the one in Tacoma, the old Puget Sound Hospital. I don't know. Because remember that one that was on Pacific for years before they tore it down?
Oh, yeah.
Next to the health department? I mean,
the Pacific Tower. That's what it is.
I'm jumping out on a limb here.
Oh, I was just talking about the wrong... Okay, so I don't know what Western State Hospital is. That's what
it's still
is.
It's that big brick building. Yeah, the state mental ward.
I was delivering mail out there one day, and the whole area went on lockdown because two people escaped.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Okay, yeah, I was totally off. Now... Okay, so yeah, the Pacific Tower, that's the one that sits on top of the hill when you drive down I-5. You can see the hospital up on the hill, and it looks stupid
in Seattle.
haunted.
In Seattle.
Yeah, exactly. So Amazon had their first HQ.
Is it the old VA? Am I mistaken? Up in Seattle, it's like it's right past. I think like the Beacon Hill area, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Before you get to the CD.
Federal government ceased operation of the facility and other similar hospitals in 1981. Yeah, 81.
Perfect. So Amazon got in there around like 99 or something like that, probably. But it is a creepy fucking building.
Oh yeah, and it was old school. I mean, it's the horror movie off the top, right?
So, okay, then I have to ask: Do you have any stories you can share from Western State?
I mean, I could share a lot. But like, do I want to? Is a question.
Yeah.
I don't know if fans would be a fan of that. Like, some of that stuff's traumatizing, man. I'll tell you what. Like, I feel bad for people institutionalized. Sometimes it's a better place for them than the community.
And that would
working there for so long, you get vicarious trauma. You see shit. It's like, dude, it makes you numb to things in life you shouldn't be. You know, like you might catch humor out of something because you're exposed to this. Like, I could say something to you like, bro, what the fuck you talking about? But it's like you're not seeing that day in and day out. Whereas like I'm experiencing that. So
that's like gallows humor.
Yeah, and you have to be able to like detach yourself from that emotion too, because like stuff you can see can be very emotionally, mentally draining. So. And
I guess that was probably more the route I wanted to go down, like talking about things because any sort of institutionalization kind of scares me. I'm a total advocate for being like a free thinker in almost every way. And not to say like institutions, they have rules for a reason and most of the rules work, but like even just like the Olympics, this whole shit with what's her name, I don't want to fuck it
crazy.
Up, but the sprinter who's
Bryant, is that her last name?
Yeah, I want to say it's Sharissa, but she popped hot for weed on a drug test like a month before the Olympics, and she got triggered because her mom had just passed away. And so there.
Richardson. I was off with that.
Okay, sweet. But what did I say? Oh, I said Sharice.
She's doing some emotions, and she smoked a little bit to kind of get over that. I mean, imagine losing your mom. But you could be doing a lot worse than hitting a blunt. Like, come on.
Not only imagine losing your mom, but imagine waking up every day at 4:30 a.m. to go out and train because you got the Olympics on your mind for the last however long you've been training, and to be cut. Not only to have a chance to enter the Olympics, but favored to win the entire event outright. She's smoking weed and still blasting these ladies. Oh, shit. She's smoking weed and still blasting these ladies.
What does that say? Like, she's a savage. Why? Because she had a blunt one time before. And there's always the argument, too. It's like, it's a drug-free policy. She should know. And it's like, that's exactly I don't want to be for or against, but it's like, there's no questioning her athletic ability. She's savage, bro. Like, she fucking killed it. Like, do they not want her to win? They're going to use the marijuana against her. But also, can you be human? And I think the argument that I always came up with is like, if she gets away with it, ever gets away with it, right? Like anything in life. Like, and I feel as if maybe it could have been looked at differently, considering the circumstances, right?
Right, for sure.
The hard part too is that like these are international games, so we're so blessed to live where we do
because weed's legal.
We
are pretty blessed.
No, like Korea, man.
It's like what the hell, but to other people like
Japan,
in different countries,
Korea.
There's a big stigma behind it.
Kill her, basically,
right.
I guess that's true. I hadn't really thought about it from the international perspective, but like I got guys on my timeline who are like, a rule's a rule. Like I'm upset she couldn't hold off from smoking it, and it's like,
you weren't in her situation. How can you say?
But if it's a stupid rule, like there's just because it's in the rule book doesn't make it a good rule. Like we can revisit some shit and maybe work around it, but like to literally rip this girl's chance from her hands to compete and win the Olympics potentially for her country and everything she's worked for in her life because she hit a blunt because her mom passed away. Like let's get fucking let's bring up Michael Phelps. Perfect.
This is from.
The greatest Olympian ever smokes pot and drinks booze. Yeah, so does everybody else on the planet.
You guys ever watched that series? I'm blanking the name. It was about Doc Ellis, the dude that pitched the no-hitter in the World Series off acid.
High on acid?
Yeah.
No, but I did watch the YouTube video. High on acid. That shit is so crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. he got caught. He thought he had to pitch the next day, took some acid, and then found out that day was today.
Right.
Ends up going up there and pitches a no-hitter, frying his balls off.
Crazy. He never was subject to anything like this, and times change, but it's like, I don't know, man. You just feel bad for someone, right?
Right.
It's like, look at that opportunity.
Well, and again, like, the other part of it was when she was confronted about it, she came out and said, yes, I was triggered through my emotions. Like, I'm not trying to hide it. I'm not trying to be sneaky.
She showed full ownership of her actions.
Here's the other thing. On the other side, I'm willing to bet there are people who are competing in the same event as her who maybe are, taking drugs that aren't so easily visible on a drug test, like marijuana or something like that.
What's worse, steroids or some pot?
Right,
let's
exactly.
be real, you know what I mean? Because there's an argument, it's not a performance-enhancing drug, but it's a narcotic. Right?
It is a recovery-enhancing drug. Well, I don't know if it's maybe recovery-enhancing. I don't want to be making claims, but it helps me relax.
They consider it holistic healing, right? They use it for tons of different medical remedies, so I don't think you're wrong with that point.
But if a doctor prescribes you some Vicodin or some Percocet for your bruised arches or whatever, like, that's cool with them. I would venture to say that a Percocet is going to help you recover a lot more than, some marijuana if we're talking about it in And
which is more harmful too. They start giving you these pills and you see the epidemic we're dealing with in the country, man. Like, oh yeah, let's give this motherfucker some Vicodin or some perks, right?
And that swings us right back to the institutionalization, dog.
I'm saying.
And that's the shit that scares me. Like, so I know the hot topic right now when you bring up the word conservatorship is Britney Spears, but
I've been seeing that.
Did you ever deal with any patients who were like under a conservatorship? Like,
I would say there's tons, not to get into specifics, but it's just like a culture, that's kind of like, I think that sometimes people have done heinous stuff and it's safer for them too, but I do believe people with the right medication, right treatment, and if they're consistent, they stay on it and have that wraparound support after discharge from the hospital, they can do fine. But sometimes, the disparity is there's not a lot of support in the community. There's not homes for these individuals. If they are, there's limited space. And then if you have no one there to help you manage your meds, you need that help. What's to say you're going to stop?
Right. What good does it do to bring in so to just explain for a second, with a conservatorship, like the whole point of it is to say, like, you are not of sound body and mind to make decisions for yourself, so they have to appoint someone to be in control of essentially your life, right? So if you are proven that you need a conservatorship, you're now essentially a ward of the state, which is what most people are in Western State Hospital or any other institution like that. And so what good does it do to bring in someone who is of sound mind and body to take care of themselves, to bring them into an institution that is, most cases ran like a business. You're pumped in and pumped out. We just follow what the paperwork tells us to do. Here's your meds, and next.
It's about power of attorney and guardianship, right?
Right.
Because what if they don't have parents that can say, hey, I needed to be there, I'm gonna make their medical choices, or a brother's got right of attorney, or some family member, right? So then they go to being a dependent of the state, and they have a legal guardian that does that.
A state-appointed guardian,
right.
Who's there as a job.
Have you guys seen this movie? This is crazy shit, dude. Crazy shit. It's called I Care a Lot on Netflix. Have you guys heard about that or seen that?
I've seen it, but I don't think I've watched it.
You need to watch that. This is very crazy because it's very similar. There's this woman, she's just a crooked woman, bro, power hungry.
Yep.
And what she does, she's a state appointed guardian, and she takes control of people that are prosperous, that are seniors, takes them to court and just takes over their lives, bro. And their families cut them off, throws them in nursing homes that their families can't enter, and takes all their possessions, sells it, profitizes from it. So and she gets caught up with some mob people doing this to some mob. Bro, man, this shit's crazy.
I will do you one better because I haven't seen this, but I will send you to a documentary that will show you the real people who this movie was based upon. So this is where I got my fear of conservatorship from. I think it's called Blood Money on Netflix, and they have a ton, they got a bunch of different episodes. One was
Isn't it crazy how much power they have over you?
Oh, dude, it literally scared me to death. This was my first time learning about conservatorships, and I'm wide-eyed this entire hour long. So check it out.
This is older too, it looks like.
Yeah, no, this is not it. Okay, fuck, I swear. Dirty Money? Try Dirty Money. I think that's what it is. Dirty Money. So this dude, he owned a hot rod shop, sold cars, did very well for himself. He's down in Texas. He's getting into his older age. He's 75, 80. And so he decides to go out and buy a new Corvette Stingray, which is $100,000 or whatever. And so,
right.
And so unbeknownst to him, he has no idea about any of this. Someone in the court system noticed, yes, this is it. Do they have different seasons?
There's 2 seasons.
Yeah, I think it's season 2, episode 1 is the conservatorship one. And so this dude buys like $100,000 car, which is fine. He's got the money for it. It's not anything crazy. But unbeknownst to him, like
of your labor.
This is it. And so unbeknownst to him, like somehow that flagged some sort of. You'll have to watch it to understand how he actually got flagged. But essentially, someone noticed it and they said, "Hey, this guy is making like not sound purchases. Like he shouldn't be spending $100,000." So they start this whole trial,
like a spend down or something. Figure out his finances
to put him under a conservatorship.
Oh, dude.
And so what they end up doing, so he's got a ton of money, and maybe he's not sharing it with the family like they think he should. So what they end up doing is instead of getting a state appointed conservator, they end up appointing this lady who's like a second cousin. They want it to be like someone in the family, so they have the family's best interest. And so essentially it's this lady she's never met him, and she gets in control of his money. And then so now she essentially like breaks down what they're in control of you. They have your power of attorney. So then what she starts doing is selling off his assets, and they get a commission off everything he sells. So she sells all of his cars, all of his houses, puts him in a home, and he has no control over it. And the entire time, if he wants to fight it, because they have power of attorney over his money, he has no control over who his lawyer is.
No say.
He has no money to pay for his own lawyer, and he is paying for essentially the prosecutor's legal team, and they're fucking raking him over the coals with their prices because he has no control over anything, and he can't do anything about it.
He's this is a guy that worked hard his whole life, earned all that shit.
At 75, got taken advantage by the system.
That's scary. That's like my dad's age. You know what I mean?
That shit right there scared me so fucking straight. I started figuring out how to hide my money at 19.
That's what I'm talking about.
I swear to God, I'll never let anyone do that to me.
But picture perfect what you said, that's that movie, but they get the mob involved in there.
Yeah.
They take some of them where the mob try to get that conservatorship on them. Oh man, it gets crazy.
It literally scared me fucking straight watching that episode. Ooh. It was like my hands were sweating. Like I'm telling my girl, I'm like, hey, if you ever try something like that, I will kill the whole family. I'm going out hot. Like I don't know what's going on, but it scared me.
Do you think there's any good that could come from conservatorship? Because I can think of 2 big things that are in the news right now. I don't know if you technically can call it conservatorship, but somebody having your best interest without you having to say.
I was going to say good for who?
I was saying the Reebok deal with Allen Iverson. You're seeing what's going on with him. He's about to get big money when he turns 50. Reebok saved all this money for him as part of his contract.
I do remember hearing something about this.
He's still making $800,000 a year based off his contract at Reebok, and hasn't had Reebok shoe come out in how long, or play for league in how long. And another one I just saw, I wasn't aware of, is you guys know about this Bobby Bonilla baseball deal?
Yes, we'll talk about that, but just real quick. Is
that the same thing, or is that different? Am I looking at it from a different scope?
Let me get a little more info on Iverson. So did Reebok say, hey, this guy's not really good with his money, so we'll only pay him this much and we'll hold this for him so that he's still well off?
His agent had his best interest.
Okay.
So it wasn't Reebok. His agent was like, you know what? I'm going to put this in our contract. I know this guy better than
himself. We shouldn't give him this large lump of money. Give us some so he can live and hold on to it. So
that's how I interpreted it.
And then I would imagine on Reebok's side of the deal, they would say, okay, now we got, instead of paying it, okay, so in the Vanilla case, so they instead of paying him 1.8 a year, we'll pay you 800 and we'll bank the $1 million. Now we have that $1 million on hand and we can go invest it and hopefully make more money off of that opposed to just giving it to you. Exactly. And then off the money we invested, we still have the principal and we'll give that back to you at the end of it.
Well, and I also think at the time they made that deal with Allen Iverson, Allen could have signed anyone, got major pro shoes from anybody. So like, what could they do to capitalize? Because Reebok was always Nike's competitor. So you had the Air Jordan, right? Now all of a sudden you have the Iversons, which I think was at that time probably Jordan's number one competitor. I can't think of a shoe back then that I'd rather have during that period of time, or Iverson or Jordans. Maybe some foam posits were hella popular, but it was either Nike or the Reebok. Because what's another Reebok shoe you can think of besides Iverson that was fucking with Nike?
Kamikaze.
Kamikaze's big, or the Shaq, the Pumps. I think the Pumps was another big one, but that's like way older shit. Like, you think of any others?
But yeah, not really. No, I was never a Reebok head, to be honest. Actually, you know what? I will say it wasn't. That was not the same time period. But Reebok did a collab with DMX, and they actually released a couple sweet pairs. I found a pair in Plato's closet, and oh my God, dog! They almost looked like the Air Max 97s, and they had a full like ice sole on it. Oh, bro!
So did they say DMX on it?
I do believe they said DMX on the tongue, like right here.
Reebok had technology called DMX back in the day. Just like Converse used to have this shit called React Juice, and those were like stuff they'd use to compete with the Nike Air.
Really?
Right, because that's their technology.
Will you Google? Oh, sorry. Will you read some? Will you Google if DMX ever had a collab with Reebok, or if it was just their technology?
I'm pretty sure it's the technology, because that's older. Like the shoes you found are probably pretty old, I imagine.
Yeah, well.
But there could have been something I don't know about. X might have had some shit.
These weren't old shoes. But they could be still using the technology. Pull up. Oh, it might be. You see what Cameron DMX Reebok collaboration?
That might be it.
Scroll down. They definitely weren't Cameron.
November 16th, 2017.
Perfect. Let's see if we got the shoes. Those look like Jordan 10s.
Remember, Jay-Z had the S. Carters on Reebok though, and that was a popular line for a little while. They gave him his own pro shoe, you know, even though he wasn't a player. Yeah, that was back 2001, maybe 2003, something like that.
Before my time. Okay, yeah, I don't remember specifically, but that Bobby Vanilla deal, weird, was kind of the same thing. So they were invested in Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme.
Ooh.
And so what they said was,
I got another one of these, Joe.
Yeah, for sure. That's ginger ale and that's sparkling water. The Perrier Mercami. We're out here balling.
Fancy cans.
But yeah, so what they said was essentially like, we'll give you this, he had like $5 million left on his contract and they were going to buy him out. And they said...
Were those the ones you saw?
Yeah, those are pretty similar. It was a different colorway, but...
They do kind of look like the 95s at the bottom, though. I see what you're saying.
Delete Cameron. Just delete Cameron out of the search and see what pulls up.
Sorry not to cut you off.
No, you're good.
My bad, homie.
Okay, yeah. So, like, that third picture, it was them. Dude, they were hard as fuck. They were stupid.
See DMX Run 10.
Yeah.
So
I'm
like
guessing it probably wasn't a DMX. Oh,
yeah, if you pull up Reebok DMX shoes, you're gonna see all kinds of. It's older. Like
yeah. Okay. Well, they're still running with it. But yeah, so he had $5 million left on his contract, and they were gonna buy him out of it. Mm-hmm. And instead, they said, I don't know if they gave him any money up front, but they said, we'll hold it until like I think it was like. What was it, 2011 or something like that? And then from there, we'll pay you out $1 million a year for 30 years. And so they're going to end up paying $30 million. But what they were doing at the time was they were invested with Bernie Madoff and they were getting such good returns with it. They said, if we can hold this money for, 10, 15 years, we're going to pull a lot more than 30 million out of it. So it actually makes more sense for us to hold on to this money, invest in that, and then pay him $30 million. Pay $1 million a year out for 30 years opposed to $5 million up front.
Damn.
And then, of course, the Bernie Madoff scam went up in flames. They lost all their money, and now they have to pay this guy $1 million a year for 30 years.
Bonilla, man, give
like
your
a
agent a handshake.
Gangster. No shit, dude. You better get that guy something more than
Bob
that.
Bonet, if you got some money you want to send out here to the 253, invest in the podcast.
So the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, and hip hop specifically, is the tapes, the CDs, like the physical media. Like me and Hootie got on this topic. Like he was talking about his buddy Colin with the Video Creates Reality.
It's pretty cool. I've seen that.
Yeah. I thought that was astounding. Like I'm pretty sure we threw out all of our VHSs the second we got a DVD player.
It's so funny. Yeah, it's this old technology, and that's like part of shit that's disappearing. And it's hard to find good tapes in good condition. I mean, I recently remember asking my parents, "You guys still have your old VHS tapes?" No, we donated those a long time ago, Morgan. So yeah, absolutely. People don't really want those, You can find some fun ones, and for me, I don't own a VCR, but if I see like a cool VHS tape, I'll buy it.
Right. That's what.
Just that nostalgic factor.
That's how I got introduced to Wayne's World.
Oh, really?
My stepbrother went and did a garage sale and came home with a Wayne's World VHS, and he was like, "I don't know what this is, bro, but we're about to watch." And we were laughing. I'm so glad you said that, bro. We actually swing down my sister's door. She like locked it up, and we're like,
down?
swing up against the door. And we fucking broke it.
Y'all are wild, bro.
Swing. That's a classic movie.
Yeah, that shit was hella funny back in the day. I remember seeing it at the theater, bro.
Really?
Full disclosure, yeah, man, because I think I was like maybe 12 years old, 13 years old when that came out. And Mike Myers, famous for Austin Powers and Shrek, that was like his first shit. A lot of cats, because it's so old, they don't even realize that guy was doing that way back then with like the characters and shit. So
I was laughing. We were watching Workaholics last night, and they're like talking about who is the best comedy movie of all time, and they like end up meeting up and like dressing up as the
Workaholics was so funny.
And it was Austin Powers. It was Wayne's World, and it was Love Guru. So 3 different Mike Myers movies, and they're all bitching at each other like, your movie's stupid, my movie's the best, but it's all the same dude.
Right. That's so funny.
So if you had to guess, how many tapes you got in your collection?
Right now? Man,
because I saw your photo.
I brought
wall.
some bangers. Yeah. No, that's not. I don't even show off all the shit I have, bro. Like that's just kind of like my backdrop. And funny piece too is like that's we're all doing Zoom in the new world. That's my backdrop for my Zoom meetings.
Beautiful.
So anytime I'm on the Zoom meeting, they're seeing all this fun hip hop and polo shit back there. Nice like old school stereo equipment. I haven't really noticed anyone like look at it too weird, but it's kind of funny. But tapes, man, I brought some heaters with me to show off. I'm not sure if you know of these, man. There might be some names. Like I said, those might be a little before your time, but I'd say right now I'm fucking with at least a good 400 to 500 hip hop tapes and about 100 R&B and rap tapes.
I got some educating to do.
So,
Dude,
but it's not even just limited
so
tapes. So that's just cassette. Cassettes have been like my major buying point for the last, I'd say, 3 or 4 years. And I've got some homeboys. I want to give a shout out to All Star Vintage because that's one of the cats I fuck with. I'll be buying tapes from Rich, or we'll be trading tapes. I actually traded them up the other day. Always, in the field for those if I find them. And then also shout out to the homeboy Rio at Throwbacks. Rio's plugged me with the gang of tapes, and I always like to show love back, get people tapes when I see them. So, and yeah, it's pretty dope, man. If you have a tape player, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, it's like that VHS thing. Like, okay, yeah, the VHS tape is dope, but I don't have a fucking VCR. So, I guess I'm just going to put it on my shelf and rock it. But yeah, I've got multiple boomboxes. I have a crazy stereo setup. And that's another thing. If people are looking to have stereos made, like I will go and dig or find shit, bro, and like make really old school stereos like our parents used to have.
Like source together a boombox?
Yes. Not a boombox. I'm talking about a receiver, a tape deck, a 5-disc changer, and a record player, like on the stacks. You know what I mean? With big tower speakers. You should be
talking to him.
Yeah, I got you, bro. We'll talk about that, man. Yeah, so that's because that sound like for me, I love Bluetooth. In digital world is so easy to have music. But like you remember back in the day. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like parents would have the best stereo. If you could like sneak some time in there when they're away from the house and just crank that shit, man, it sounded so good. The analog sound is just, to me, it sounds so much clearer and different.
See, I never got introduced to any of the analog sound. Like I guess like car stereos. Like we never had like a nice speaker setup at the house or nothing. So I never got introduced to it really.
Okay.
I could definitely go for a jam session though. And
man, like old school Bose speakers, because Bose is still around, but they've always been like the best technology for home stereo and like cars. I mean, you don't see it in cars as often, but the Bose speakers at the house, man, if your homeboys had that shit sounded clear.
That's the standard.
Yeah, you could fucking crack it. Oh my god, dude. Yeah. And there's other brands too. Brands aren't even around anymore. But yeah, like you're saying too, the car stereos, that was like a big thing with hip hop back in the day. The homeboys with the bass in the trunk and right around the town knocking like with a 12 or a 10, whatever you had.
You don't see too much of that no more.
Not as much.
It does bring a little nostalgia when I see that license plate shaking though.
Especially if it's like an 84 Regal or something.
Yes.
But man, I love it. Summertime, you start seeing some of those old school riders. You're seeing these cars on the gold, these cars on the chrome, the wires, and man, it used to be all over back in the day, but
so
I actually love when I see these new rides back into them. There's so many cool cars out, dog. But the one thing I didn't get into, which kind of evolved over the years, was like these scrapers. When people got like 26s on a car, the wheel wells will not fit. And it's almost like you're trying to do a 4x4 truck or something. I don't know.
You're not for that?
This is too much for me, man. I just don't think it's a good look.
The only time I ever saw it actually used with like a utilitarian use was like down in Houston, and it was flooding, and their car was still above the water.
That's a terrible example.
Was still dry, but that was the only time I saw any use for it.
Down in the dirty.
So I know it's in your name. Like, are you into lowriders and stuff? Do you got a car like that? Or are you?
Man, you know what? I've always been the VW dude, bro. Like, I'm driving the turbo diesel Golf right now, and
really, what year?
It's a 2015.
Okay,
6-speed.
I'm looking at picking up a 2011 Q5 tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a nice.
We were supposed
to
pick it up today, but it's been madness.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Drive.
Dude, it's this nice, like this one I'm looking at. It's like I've been calling it like a root beer color. It's like that sparkly brown, but like the dealership keeps calling it espresso. I'm like, yeah, dude, whatever. But it's
their own.
It's the prestige package, so it's got like the ventilated leather seats, full navigation, panoramic sunroof,
yeah, some wood grain in there. What? I just got to have like some wood grain or something.
Yeah.
Real
it's a nice like cherry wood. It actually matches the exterior.
Very nice,
dude. It's stupid nice. So,
but congrats to you, man. That's a nice one.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Sure. Yeah, we needed something for the baby. So, unfortunately, I think it's gonna be Mama's car. But I'll take it as much as I can get.
Mama's way, you will play.
Yeah, exactly. You got to keep them safe.
Dude, safety first, especially for little ones, man. There's a lot of crazy motherfuckers out there, too. And I'm sure you guys have noticed this. We've been on lockdown forever. There wasn't a lot of cars out. And I feel like before all the cars went away, we were doing our own thing. There's like double the amount of cars before this shit started.
And everyone's double the amount of agitated as they were before. Yeah, that's the big deal, bro. Yeah, it is. Well,
it's been wild out here recently.
Hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the cars are weird.
I got some real shit for you guys. Some real insight. So I'm heavy into cycling, bro. I ride every day. Like, well, not every day. I'd say 6 days a week.
Yeah.
I'm riding on my lunch break 11 to 15 miles, depending on how much time I have in the hour, what the weather conditions like. Then I do a 20-mile ride every Saturday. And I recently was hit on my bike by someone. Like, yeah, and it was like just careless driving. I think it's, you know, people back out there now, they're just not paying attention. I wasn't seriously injured, and like I was watching this guy. I mean, I was getting ready to go through the intersection. I had waited, and this guy, he's getting ready to approach a stop sign, and I was already kind of on guard. I went through the intersection hella fast, and he kind of hit not my back tire, but where my gear shifter is by my chain. And he stopped. Like, he slammed the brakes. It was a little bit of contact. I'd say the amount of contact, if my bike was a standing position, I would just drop it to the ground. You know what I mean? So it didn't compromise integrity, anything like that, but it scared me.
No one got hurt.
And no one got hurt. And this is a funny story. So I started laying into it. I was like, bro, what if I was a little kid and you didn't see over your hood and you just ran me over?
Right.
Like, you could have killed me. And I was like, what's to say you're not gonna do someone else? But like, that's fucked up, man. I was like, look at my bike. You fucked my bike up. And I wasn't even looking at my bike. And this guy started like, man, I'm not a bad person. I'm not a bad person, I swear. I'm like, dude.
No, you just
I was letting him have it. I was adrenaline going too, because I was a little freaked out because I thought I was about to get blasted. But this motherfucker was like, here, man, I'll give you some money to fix your bike. I'm sorry. I'm not a bad guy, I swear. And he goes, here's $100, man. It's all the money I have on me, right? So I take the guy's money and he dips off. I put it in my pocket. I'm riding home. I get home. I count it. It was $85. He gave me 4 20s and a 5. He didn't give me 100. So, yeah, no, he really did.
He said, I'm not a bad guy. Here's $100. Psych.
Whatever,
I'm
bro.
out.
Yeah, but no, just luckily I wasn't hurt, and I hope that guy doesn't do some shit like that again, because life is precious, man, and it could have easily been a little kid riding on a bike getting smashed. So
yeah, the car is a crazy thing, man. People take it for granted. You think you're just invincible in there, but
get on autopilot.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how many times have you done that where you like, holy fuck, I don't remember the last 50 seconds of me driving. Like, anything could have happened there. I'm not saying you're asleep at the wheel, but like, your mind just goes on autopilot.
For real. You're not always paying attention to what's around you. And the other thing is, do you guys watch other people when you're driving?
Absolutely.
Like, kind of people watch while you're driving. So yeah, to be safe, absolutely. But so you notice when
for entertainment,
people, well, that too, but just kind of watching, monitoring for, I guess, both aspects, right? But do you know some people take a right turn? They're only looking to their left. They're never looking to the right when they're coming out of the parking lot. They're never looking for traffic coming their direction. They're looking for the traffic going away from them. And I've almost been hit multiple times because people aren't looking. I mean, and it's scary.
Guilty.
You see accidents like that all the time. Like where I live, over by the Fred Meyers, there's so many accidents out there by where I stay.
Oh, yeah.
All the time, man, because people just, they don't pay attention. And fuck that, dude. I ain't got time for those car bills, man. Shit.
I had a close call like that, actually. In the mail trucks, they are pretty prone to blind spots. And yeah, same thing. The rule is left, right, left when you're looking. I for whatever reason, I usually go right, left, right.
Mirror signal head check.
Yeah.
So quick question about the mail truck. Is your steering wheel on the right hand side?
It is on some of them, yeah.
That's what's up. I want to shout out my homeboy Kevin Cutthroat out there in Centralia. He's a mailman. He actually bought a used Jeep, and he drives his personal car for his mail truck, and it's got the steering wheel on the right hand side.
Oh, nice. Yeah, there's, different, like the city carriers, they have to use the mail truck. The rural carriers, they're supposed to use their own vehicles. So that actually makes sense.
Got it.
But as cool as it is to drive on the right side, that's about the only cool thing about those trucks, man. They're just a big tin box.
I just wanted to throw you off because you're so accustomed to driving on the left.
It is a little weird. You get used to it. Like, they give you like 2 or 3 days of training, and by the end of the 3rd day, you're pretty much used to it. Like, you know how when you're driving, did your parents ever teach you like the focal point for where the lane line should be?
Yes.
It's just moving it over to the right side.
Got you.
And then like, going through drive-thrus and stuff is fucked up though.
I bet. Yeah, you're way off to the side.
The open door and like.
Put that joint in park.
It's not ideal, but like, we got the big vans too. When the big vans came out, I think they're like 8'5" tall, and I think most of the like drive-thrus are 8 foot. So we had like a rash of people just can opening the new vans on drive-thrus. People going through them, and just the mail truck's too tall for the drive-thru, and they just come through and peel the top right off.
Wow, man! I guess they want that drop top shit. Fuck yeah, man.
So what other Volkswagens have you owned?
Oh my gosh.
Let's do the list.
I've had some funny ones. So I think my favorite one, aside from the one I have right now, it's one I had in college. And it had a name. It was funny. It was actually 83 GTI. Really nice Recaro interior. I had it all tuned up. I had the core support change, and I had the 4-round Euro headlights.
You had an 83?
Yeah.
For sure an 83?
Yes, for sure.
Wow. That's the very, very first year?
Yeah. It was the 83 Rabbit GTI, yeah. But it was a GTI because it had the 5-speed, and it had a different like type of performance engine. It had the stock BBS rims. That shit was clean, man. And I had the Beats in there. And we called it the Tacoma Rider because this is the funny shit. So you're thinking of that car right there, right? Think of Tacoma in red in Old English letters across the back window.
Oh, nice.
It's so stupid. And I was out there going to school at Central with this window Tacoma. Like everyone knew I was riding the Tacoma car, so I just got the title Tacoma Rider. But that was a lot of fun. It was safe for me. I made it so many times back and forth across the pass.
Yeah.
That was good. I had a Volkswagen Rabbit. Was prior to that, so the GTI was actually my second car. And the Rabbit was a funny story, bro. Like me and the homeboy were kicking it one night. This is when I was in high school. We're Jack in the Box, we're hungry. Yeah, just joking around. And dude, I had engine fire in the drive-through. Yeah, and coincidentally, my cousin who went to like a close high school was 2 cars in front of us and saw that was my car. Like we had no idea he was there, bro. And so like we had to park the car on fire in the Albertsons parking lot, which is next to the Jack in the Box off like 112th and Canyon. I'm sure you know that.
Yes,
area.
I can't imagine you had a fire extinguisher in it.
We had rented the gas station. There's that Chevron right there.
Oh, that's lucky. Did it put it out?
It did.
Okay, because that's what I've never had an engine fire, and my thoughts are: do you just let it burn to the ground, or
the dumb part is like because I was like didn't know what to do, like open the hood, I started going
oh yeah,
like I was gonna do something. I'm like I didn't get burnt, man, to be real. But yeah, so Rabbit GTI. I had a Volkswagen called the Quantum. Have you ever seen a Quantum?
Yes, the buses that are 4-wheel drive.
It wasn't a bus. It's so
that's the Quattro.
The The Quantum is like similar to the Jetta. It looks kind of like
it almost looks like a older
it looks like the Volkswagen
Audi,
Fox. Are you familiar with the Volkswagen Fox?
Yes, I am.
It's like the step up from the Fox. It wasn't the hatchback. It was the 4-door. Looked like you got some wagons in there. But man, that shit had the bomb interior. Was so plush. Had great sound system, and I really liked that car, man. Actually, it wasn't a bad car, but I got hit by somebody and got totaled, out of my hands.
I got a story about a Fox. My buddy, I had like a 98 Passat wagon, and actually I don't even. We were going up to Cle Elum, Snoqualmie, Roslyn area.
Hey, those look clean though, don't they? Like
dude, they look stupid clean. I don't think I have.
Mine was like the one on the left right there. You see, not the hatch, like down right there, next one. Yeah. Mine was like, but it was like a blue. Yeah.
So we're driving up I-90 all the way up to Cle Elum, and it is dumping snow. We're in my stepbrother's S10. He's got 4-wheel drive on it, and we're like kind of cruising at like 35, 40, like through this thick snow on I-90. Also, my buddy BJ and his like 89 Fox 2-wheel drive weighs 1,000 pounds. It's just ripping through the snow. I'm like, all right, dog. That's wasn't expecting that.
You should have seen what I was doing with that GTI in Ellensburg, bro. You would be tripping,
around.
Stupid, man. I put in the ditch and got out so many times. Like, how do you do that? But especially living that college life, like who knows the situation I was in. But I had a 96 Jetta. I had a 94 Jetta. And I had that Passat wagon when you met me. That was the 2000 VR6, the all-wheel drive. Actually, I missed that car, man.
Was I driving my Passat wagon?
You were. Yes, I think that's what like caught your ear. Like, hey man, nice wagon. But by the way, Amway. I'm like, no, fucking with you. So yeah, back to the starts. But I had that car, and then I started having issues, and I got tired of putting money because Volkswagens get spendy, bro, especially for the repairs. And so I went and traded my old car, and bro, give me fucking like $500. I was like, whatever, fuck it, just take it. I mean, that shit was not even run at the time I traded to the dealership. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, they paid to come get it towed, though.
Nice.
So, yeah, I'm not tripping.
That's better than a cash for clunkers price.
Dude, come on, yeah. And now I've got that 2015 TDI 6-speed. I got that in 2019, December.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Congratulations, dude.
Thank you. Yeah.
And it's the TDI. What's the miles per gallon on that? Honestly, I was trying to get a TDI for 42. The Q5. 42?
42.
Yeah. I was trying to get a TDI for the Q5, but those ones were out of my price range.
And diesel's cheaper than unleaded right now in most places.
I know it is, dog. So, that's why I was looking. It's crazy.
Yeah. And to be real, for the diesel, it runs quiet. Most times I think diesel,
right?
It's pretty quiet. It runs clean.
Yeah, so, you can definitely tell a Volkswagen with a diesel motor.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's my favorite sound. So I started with a 97 2.0 Golf.
Oh, that's a good one.
Cut the springs on it, ripped around on that. Good times.
Ooh, those are fun ones, man.
It was rough, bro.
Those are the ones I think. Was it like they came with the K2, or the K2 would come with the snowboard rack? Or there was the Trek one, and it would come with
it was the Trek, the driver's edition.
And so did you get the bike with it?
Nope, I didn't get any of that. Man. No, I got a little shit box. I had no fancy nothing in that.
I remember they first came out because my parents bought the K2 Jet, and it came with the snowboard and snowboard rack stock. And the Treks, the promotion was you'd get the Trek bike back when they first came out.
Shut up. I didn't even know that. Will you look that up and see if you can find one on Craigslist?
One of my homies that actually owns a Volkswagen shop has one. It blows my mind.
Volkswagen... Look up Volkswagen Jetta Trek.
Trek bike, yeah.
Yeah, because I know there's a Trek edition, but I had no idea it had anything to do with the Trek bike. That's crazy. So I got that. Then I had the 98 wagon, which was tight. We actually had coilovers on that.
So they got a few in there.
Put the big Mercedes Alfards. I always forget how to say it. I wanted to say Alfalard, but it's Alfard. Is that the bike?
It should be, yeah. I think it's just pull it up.
This is sick. Yeah,
I think it's all those.
Trek
yeah.
edition right now. Shout out to Connor.
1996. Yeah, look, Jetta Trek mountain bike.
That's fucking hard. Okay, sweet.
And if you look up the K2, they have the Volkswagen K2 snowboard.
Yeah, look that up. I haven't seen that Volkswagen K2 snowboard. Yeah, so after the Passat wagon, I got the R32, the Volkswagen R32.
Oh, come on. You had the R32?
Dude.
Hey, that was fun, wasn't it?
Oh, my God.
What color was it?
It was silver, and it was actually
Okay.
stupid clean. So I really wanted a Tornado Red one for, I looked for about 8 months. The Tornado Red is, the most rare factory colorway.
Really?
But they kind of fucked it up in the clear coat. Something got mixed up on it, and so a lot of them have, clear coat peeling on them.
Okay.
So it's hard to find a really clean one. And so I ended up settling after about 8 months on this silver one, which was stupid fucking clean. We put it on bags. I bought wheels for it, but they didn't fit. And from there, things kind of went downhill with modding it out. But so we just kept it straight on the Aristos, the 20th anniversary wheels.
Those are clean, though. Those are clean.
Super clean. It was silver.
So
on
was
black.
it the Rabbit GTI R32?
No, it was just a straight R32,
Okay.
3.2 liter, all-wheel drive, sport tuned. It was a fucking monster.
Oh, you had fun. You had a tune too. What level?
It comes factory tuned.
Okay.
But it's got a 6. Is that it? Shut up. That's kind of hard.
Is that the K2? The V-Dub?
K2. Yeah, promotion sealed.
Yeah.
Shit. $249. We might have to get that for the studio. That's a business expense.
Is that the lowest bid?
It's a buy it now. I bet you we can message them. How long has it been sitting for? We might have to scoop that up. That's a piece of history.
It's great, especially for being a V-Dub guy.
And a snowboarder.
Oh, well, there you go.
And I could never afford K2 because they don't play about their boards.
No, they were always kind of the upper echelon back in the day, right?
And actually, I think K2 is based out of
Auburn, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I think that's Evo. But K2 was started on
Vashon Island.
There we go. I was gonna say an island.
Yeah, Vashon Island.
Yeah.
Because there's the other one too. LibTech is from out here. Lib Technologies.
Oh, is it? I didn't know LibTech was from out here.
Yeah. I'll segue into another story now if it's cool with you. Get a little history, some more for y'all. I almost want to start off, you ever want to see the skateboard out here, Method Skateboards. I want to give a shout out to my brother, Aaron Artis, his partners. They're opening up skateboard shop / coffee shop.
Are they on Instagram right now?
Yeah, and actually, they have a website in case people want to buy some of their product. I'm going to give you their website real quick, okay? I asked them for it earlier today.
Case Ace is already on.
They have their own coffee they sell. They're going to have a storefront selling coffee in there too. But it's like a gallery in there, but they have all the stuff you need for your skateboards, man. They got the trucks, the wheels, their grip tape. They have their own factory boards you can see. Graphics pretty dope, props to them. Let me get you this address real quick, my guy. Hold on 1 second. It's going to be... It says... themethod253.com.
Beautiful.
And so my brother, he's a former professional skateboarder, one of the first cats from Washington to make it. There's another dude before him named Steve Olson who was crazy OG from Tacoma. Dude we used to look up to as young bucks skate, you know what I mean? And my brother moved to Cali, I think when he was 18 or 19, lived out there, pursued professional skateboarding until about the age of 25 when he got married and had a kid, and had to start that life. But he got a chance to travel the world, and he's always, been about it and hopes one day to be able to move forward and get a shop, and he did. Real proud of him for that great accomplishment. And he's also a collector like myself, but he collects classic skateboards like I collect classic hip-hop tapes.
Sick.
So he's got some wild shit that he has. Some are display, but some are for sale. It's worth the right price in the shop, and it's set up really nice, man. Like I said, it's over there. I don't know the street name. It's 9th, where that alley is behind ETC, but to the left, kind of kitty corner.
Pacific or?
Right off of Pacific, yeah. Right. You know where Fresh Rolls is?
No.
It's right there on 9th and Pacific. It's called Fresh Rolls. It's basically right behind that in the alley.
Oh, okay.
So, anyways, they actually just had a little soft opening on Go Skateboard Day. Had a couple events at the what's it called? The Pit DIY off like 11th. It's a little skateboard shop connected to Manifest. No, a little skateboard outdoor park. It's all cement, like non-commissioned by the city. They've been doing it just on the
DIY shop? Or
that's
the DIY
one.
park?
There's two of them, yeah. So there's that one on the Pit, and then there's one under the 11th Street Bridge.
Yeah.
My brother's kind of like the commissioner for, like, him and his homies. They've done some crazy shit over there. Like it's only been maybe like a year and 2 months, but it is crazy down there. They finally have been, working with the city, getting permits and insurance and everything. But it started organic grassroots from the ground, no permission.
Where'd you say the Pit was?
Under the Pit is on I want to say 11th and MLK or 9th MLK. You know where Manifesto Coffee is? It's like connected to Manifesto Coffee or Fucking Pho. It's like right across the street from Fucking, dude.
They're gangsters for that.
Yeah.
Fucking
but as you can see, they've got their own product. It's right here, man. People go show some love. They should be doing a fall opening in August.
Click the coffee too.
Just a couple things, they got to do. And their coffee's, I don't know if it's called brewed, but like, we get the beans prepared for the coffee. Their Manifesto's helping them with that. So...
Dude, awesome.
Props to all them.
Awesome. And I know you said... Ooh.
That's it. But yeah, and they did 2 competitions that day. They had a big throw around the park. Everyone got together. Like, the scene in Tacoma is really coming back around, because back when we were young, there was a huge scene back in the day. Huge, and it kind of was dormant for a little while, right? And now it's like really picking back up again, and so cool to see it. And especially these guys just like going and building these parks on their own, and like not just like something shitty. It's not like a piece of plywood with some wood underneath it. They're going down there with some engineers, really using the cement. Structurally sound, really dope, crazy shit, man.
We grew up by Sherman, and I remember we found a fucking quarter pipe in the bushes one day, and we wheel it all the way home. took the side streets all the way home. Wheeled this fucking quarter pipe. But I know you said you just recently met up with Cedric.
Yeah. You know what? Love to Cedric. He seemed like a nice guy. Didn't get a chance to chop it up a whole lot. Look forward to talking to him again. He was down at All Star yesterday with me. Collaborate with my buddy Rich, owner All Star. I just went there, I'd say like maybe a month ago with Rich, and we're talking shit, state reopening, trying to do something fun. And Rich is like, let's throw a party on the 4th.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, Rich, I got a couple guys I know I think would be fun to perform. Rich had some guys that he wanted to perform. He provided the venue at All Star, and we had, it was called Bangers yesterday.
Nice.
Who was there? Bear Bro performed, Little Boof Boy, my homeboy Erebus, the cats Sed Bash and King Cabot, some cats that I picked up on from the town. Their shit's real dope. If cats don't know about them, have you heard their shit?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, it's nice. It's straight West Coast vibe, bro. They're good. Real
beautiful.
Dope, man.
You have to tap me in. Yeah, the reason I bring that up is if you. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, there's one other guy I wanted to make sure, and then FT from the FT ISO from the Piranha Gang. He finished the night, but it was fun, man. There's probably some stories around.
We got a lot of talent here in Tacoma.
No, it's man, a lot of untapped talent, man. It's crazy.
But the reason I brought up Seti was because when he was on my episode, we were talking actually about Bear Bro and whatnot. Bear Bro skates as well. He's a big skater, and they were talking about.
He's a big guy too, man, to be skating.
I haven't met him yet.
Yeah, I met him at the show. I was like, bro, you be skating? Like, fuck. I know how it feels to fall down being that big, bro. Like, goddamn.
Those big dudes are committed too. Like that's. But he was saying they want to try and put on like some sort of skate competition soon too. So I'll have to put you in touch with him and see if we can set that up.
That's why I tried to build with him, man. I talked to Bear Bro about that. Actually, I dropped my brother's name. He knew who he was. He's like, he's the guy over there at 11th Street Park. That's dope. Yeah, and we'll show love. So
beautiful.
Yeah, it's cool to see kind of the hip hop and skateboarding culture remain there, because that was one of the big things, like where I got turned on to it when we were skateboarding. Back in the day, it was different. We'd skate all over town. Downtown Tacoma was like a ghost town back in the day,
and it was
like that shit was shut down
for skating.
Oh man, so many spots, so
many rails, so many stairs.
There's spots that they got rid of that aren't there anymore. It's like history, bro. It's crazy. But meeting cats through skateboarding, because we didn't have the internet, would know about like other hip hop artists or local hip hop groups, right? Put us on this shit. So I learned so much about music and hip hop from other cats that skated either like in Tacoma or in Seattle, wherever we are, because we were on the bus deep back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh man, Pierce County bus was funny.
I get a little nostalgic about the bus. I'm glad I never have to do it again, but those were good times, dog.
Oh, man.
That was where I learned my independence.
Did you get the summer youth pass?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, by probably like 6th or 7th. Right? Like where our elementary school was maybe like a half mile away. So even elementary school, like we got sent walking to school.
Yeah.
So I got a funny story. I walked to school and we would we would go to daycare, catch the bus from daycare, and then go to school, right? And then catch the bus back to daycare, get picked up from daycare. So this is like 2nd or 3rd grade. So this is before I'm able to walk to school by myself, right?
So, absolutely. But they think the city bus is safer?
No. This is all school related. So I got kicked off the bus for something. I got suspended from the bus. But the lady, she like enacted it a week before I was supposed to be kicked off the bus. So no one knew I wasn't allowed on the bus except for the bus driver. So I'm like 3rd grade, and she's like, "No, you're not allowed on the bus. You can't come on. You're suspended off the bus." And I'm like,
What do you do with that point?
What do I do? I'm like
saying.
8. What the fuck am I supposed to do? And so I ended up like, I had no phone. I had no nothing. I just ended up trying to find my way home. And dog, I'm just a little 3rd grader lost walking around the neighborhoods, like trying to find something.
And it seems so big and menacing back then too, right?
And nothing looks familiar. I'm not doing this. And
we had no sense of direction.
So eventually, like, and I was super far off. I actually found my daycare before I found my home, and my home is much closer to the school than the daycare is.
Oh, wow.
And so, like, they called my mom, and my mom fucking, dude, she pulled up. She's like, where's
Mom
this
was not
lady
having
at?
it.
Like, she ended up getting fired. Yeah, my mom was the
not
first
having
experience getting someone fired.
Man. Do you remember fights on the school bus when you were a kid?
Yes, I got a good
When
story
those get
for that
ruthless?
too.
Oh,
yes.
I got one for you. Go first, man.
Okay, I'll go
yeah.
first. So I had this kid, Charlie, and actually, to top this off even better, like 3 or 4 years after high school, I seen him at a bar, and he came up and thanked me for turning him into the man he is today.
Sure.
I was the one who let him know that not
okay.
everyone's just going to let him do his own thing.
He tried to pull a hot one on you? Like,
well, so he was like, he wasn't all there. Like, he was just a little socially awkward, right? He was just...
But he wasn't riding the short bus?
No, he wasn't riding the short bus. We were all on the
okay.
same bus. And he was just fucking with me. And I told him not cut the shit. Like, quit fucking with me. And he kept fucking with me. And then, like, it was his stop, and he got off, and he called me a fag or something like that, you know, something crazy. And I'm like, I stood up, and he like tried to flinch at me, and I just stooled off on him. And
He didn't expect you to get him, did he?
No. And then the homie tried to like pull and grab me off, and I socked the homie on accident, and like I got him down, like I pushed him down on the seat, and I just started wailing on him. And like the bus drivers, no, like stop, don't. They never got up out of the seat, and I just wailed on him until like they pulled me off. And then we go into school the next day, you know, you're getting in trouble with the principal and everything.
Yeah.
And they're like, so the whole thing is on recording. So we're going to, you know, review it here in a minute. But generally our rule is for every punch you land, you get 1 day of suspension.
Oh, shit.
And so they go back there and they come out and they're like, so we're going to have to figure out a new deal. We can't suspend you for 48 days. So we are going to, you know, do a week of suspension with you two together in the same room to build friendship or something like that. I don't know. It was wild.
Some rapport building?
Yeah, so we got a couple fights on the bus that they usually lead to friendship afterwards, but...
Yeah, you usually squash that once you got your licks in, you know?
But I lit that fucker up. That was like my last real fight, too.
It's a social hierarchy.
Yeah,
right.
You know, you gotta...
Those school fights were the best, man.
Someone's gonna figure it out. Only one way to do it.
I got 2 school fight stories I want to share. First, I'll share the school bus class. So, God, that shit was so funny back in the day. But that's just like entertainment time. There's a fight. Yes.
I know,
I'm
bro.
watching that shit. So there was a bus stop right in front of our house, literally, when I was in middle school. And we had a substitute bus driver, and the kids on the bus were just giving her shit, yelling at her, right? Just ruthless kids back in the day. I mean, the kids are still ruthless, you know, probably more so now than then. But
that is a shitty job.
The bus stop was literally in front of my house, right? And these girls, like, we're getting ready to get the bus, and these girls are talking shit to the school bus driver back and forth. And these girls go and jump the school bus driver. And the bus is right in front of my house. My brother ran off the bus, I remember. And I watched it for a few minutes, and I had to go inside, tell my parents. Parents called the cops. Cops came, you know. It was such a big ordeal, man. Like, that was crazy. Like, literally right in front of my house. Started beating her ass, dude. Yeah.
Well, get it how you live.
Man.
You know what it is.
The other time, and that's the only reason I bring this story up, just because it's hijinks and funny. Did you guys ever have any type of, like, horticulture type classes or things like that in school?
Yeah. Well, I got another story for you.
Oh, perfect. This is fun. So we used to take what's called the farm bus. And so we'd leave Franklin Pierce and go to the Franklin Pierce farm where they had the horticulture and like animal science classes, and they're in a portable, and it was like legit farm, you know?
That's what being 8 blocks over the line gets you.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Exactly. Yeah, you're not getting that probably in other places. But anyways, these 2 cats, and they were cool at one point, you know what I mean? It was funny, but they started talking shit one day, got into it, and the teacher tried to jump in between them, and right when the first punch was thrown, it was like perfect timing when the teacher jumps in, and it was like slow motion. And this dude socks the teacher eye and drops her hard as fuck. And like they both stopped. Like the dudes, they weren't fighting anymore because they're like, "Oh my god, you just hit her, bro!" Like everyone was tripping. And dude, she got knocked out. And I felt so bad because she came back to school the next day. She didn't take any leave, and she had this black eye for a good two and a half weeks.
Dedicated.
Oh man, and she didn't hold a grudge because she knew she put herself in that position. Like she was not mad at them at all. But I'd never seen like, dude, that teacher just dropped.
Wow.
Like the knockout punch.
Yes. One more fight story, and then I'll incriminate myself with a horticulture story. But one of my really good friends growing up, his name is Theron. That's how we became friends. Like he watched me get in a fight with this other kid who was like a grade above us, and like we beefed it out. Me and that kid weren't friends, but we beefed it out. And then like the other homie, he was like, I forget, we were just shit talking or something, and then I ended up like throwing chapstick at him or something, and he just fucking bum rushed me. He bum rushed me in the middle of the field, and we got after it, and the teachers, you know, they separate us and put us in the principal's office, seat next to each other. And before the principal even came out to talk to us, we were already like cool with each other, like dabbing each other up, laughing about it, like all right, we good, you got it. All right, and then my horticulture story. I might have already told it once on this podcast, so I might have already incriminated myself. But I had, I went to Wilson and had Miss Guns, and she was like a new teacher. Ooh. She was pretty hot, but she was like, you know, had to assert herself as a high school new teacher. She couldn't take shit. Right. Like, she busted these two cats for gambling in the back of the room. They were shooting dice.
Is that serious, huh?
Yes, bro. She came up there and grabbed their dice. This kid was like from Brazil, and he was teaching everyone how to play dice.
Shooting dice in horticulture class to begin with, though. That's groundbreaking right there, man.
Well, it was, what would it be? I don't know. Yeah, some sort of
4, 5, 6?
Yeah. No, they were actually just shooting dice.
Oh, some crabs.
Yeah,
okay. Got it.
And she took the dice. So I had this game, and it was called Roll the Joint. And it was literally like a virtual, like you take the weed, you put it in the joint, and then you like rub the screen, and it rolls the joint, and then you can hit the microphone, and it like puffs it and lives it. Like it was kind of cool. And she saw me playing with that, and she like confiscated my phone, sent me down to the office. The office searched my car. They found my weed in my pipe, and I got expelled, right? Or not expelled, but suspended. And so I came back.
Spencer?
Yeah. So I came back, and she's like, well, you know, because of the ruckus you made in my class, like I need you to make it up to this extra credit stuff we're gonna have you. And this is like literally, I think this is like senior year, last semester, and they're like, we just need you to like help clean this up. And so like I'm already on my way out the door, and she leaves me and the homie Procon in there. Sorry, I didn't mean to incriminate the homie too. Ooh. But whatever, he didn't do nothing. It was on me. And I pulled a pot up off the top and took a shit in a pot, covered it up with dirt, and just laid it back up there and left. Oh, I don't know what ever happened.
That's deviant, bro.
It was bad, but
how bad would that stink in the sun, man? Like
it's fertilizer,
the 107
bro.
degrees we had last week.
I was doing what I was supposed to do, learning horticulture. Fertilizes helps. That's what I heard.
Contribute to a greater cause. Yeah, you're right.
So, needless to say, school was not my my spot.
That's a fun one, though. I never heard that before, bro. Just dropping a deuce in a flower pot and trying to camouflage it with dirt.
Yeah, well, my thought process was, you know, she's going to put something new in there. It was an empty pot, so. I don't know, bro. Kids being kids.
Bro, you're getting creative, man. Props to you. Goddamn.
Oh, sick. So the last one I did want to talk about a little bit more. Sorry, guys. Was All-Star Vintage. They are really going in for the people. So they're the ones who've been working with DJ QJ and letting him sport some of their clothes for their photo shoots and whatnot.
Right.
And they're really tapping in. So where did that shop come from? Because I swear it just out of nowhere sprang up one day.
So before All-Star, I vaguely knew Rich and Dez. They had a spot called Hall of Fame Vintage, and it was actually located in the old post office building where the post office studios is, right? And I believe all those cats connected while they were in there. And
okay, that makes sense.
And Rich, as I was saying, and Dez, they had another friend that I believe was in the business with them, and they changed the name from Hall of Fame to All-Star when they collaborated with that other owner and got the new storefront.
Sweet.
And I believe that's correct. I believe that's the process to transition, you know? And yeah, they popped out. It was September 2018, I want to say.
Okay.
And they went from the post office studios to the 38th spot.
Yeah,
you know, right
so
in
now
the heart
they have
of
a full
the
location.
Lincoln District. You know, really good food out there. You know, international, Tacoma, whatever you want to say. But yeah, and they've really been going hard. You know, and that's the thing that I bonded and how I became close to Rich. You know, he's old school head like myself, just passionate about the hip hop bro. Kind of, you know, has always been a big part of us and take that into our life. And I'll give them props, you know, because they're independent contractors. You know, and they're doing great, man. And they're very creative. Think outside the box. And also, for me, the one thing I have difficulty with, which I give them so much credit for, is being able to reach out to everyone. I feel sometimes I'm kind of contained in this box, like staying true to myself, what I've always been about. Like I might not be able to have so much allure with my passion that's going to be felt by people 10, 15 years younger than me, where they're hip, they're aware of what's going on, they're working with these cats, they're popular. It's not just limited themselves to one demographic. They're very holistic, I guess you could say, which is, you know, as any business owner, that's what you want to do. And I feel they're doing a great job as far as that goes. And also, like you said, connecting with the different artists in the city. You know, like we had that show yesterday. Rich allowed us, you know, to utilize the space. We combined together, and the show was bomb, man.
That's awesome. I didn't know that they were throwing like events there and stuff. I need to be a little more tapped in.
They actually helped me. This is a great story. I connected like my lowlife, my big cat. His name is Maximilian. He goes by Kingdom Come. He's a rapper. He's connected East Coast. He also does, I don't know if it's not reggaeton, but he raps in Spanish. He does international music too. Nice. So he's actually developing a pretty good international following. He's from Miami-Dade, Florida, but is living in North Carolina right now.
Shout out Kingdom Come.
Yeah, real talk, man. Max is a real one. But anyways, I connected with him and we chopped it up for a good 6 months to a year. And I helped fly him out here. We did a show up at Throwbacks back in December 2019 before everything changed, you know what I mean? It was a dope ass show, and he kicked it. He actually participated in ThriftCon. You know, All Star was doing those big events down there, and he was able to come out there, sit in a panel, and then he also he's a curator as well. He has his own vintage business, and so he brought a lot of his own personal pieces and was able to take part in the sales and had his own booth. And that's my brother, bro. We've developed a relationship, and like I said, he's homeboys with Rich, homeboys with Rio. It was a great experience, you know, and through them, I was able to have that outlet, or I guess you could say the accessibility to where I could work with them. We identified a spot to do the show and turned out great, you know, and that's just that hip hop, you know, us being able to work together, doing shit we love and having a good time with it all. That in the day, that's what matters, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Dude, that's freaking cool.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a question for you, and I don't know how well this will turn out, but like, so
sounds like a setup.
So in my head, like, if you're a low head, I would consider that falling under like the cool guy category, right?
I can understand. I can understand where you come from with that. Yeah.
So I have found myself like, there's not a lot of things I won't try, but there are a couple of things I won't do because I don't think that's the player way to do shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I've been trying to work my way out of like, I don't know. I wouldn't consider myself a cool guy, but I definitely can fit in with the cool cats. Like, that's not a problem. That's usually where I tend to go, is what's new, what's popping, you know, this and that. And so like, did you ever have that kind of same feeling growing up? Like you were...
Yeah. No, not like, yeah, you're part of that group. Like, oh, he's too cool for school type situation. Right. No, he's trying too hard or whatever.
Like a big part of being on camera. Like, I always felt like being on camera was not player. You don't want to document everything. Some things aren't meant to be documented. Record then,
you know?
But like...
They got proof.
I'm doing my best to step out of my comfort zone and do maybe things that are maybe beneficial for me, but maybe don't fall in that cool guy. Like, did you ever suffer with any stuff like that? Like, maybe not stepping outside of your comfort zone just because of it might not be...
That's a multiple answer question. I feel like many prongs. I would say for me, definitely it was influence, because that's what the cats that were popular were rocking. Like the dude that had a shit together had the low. You had the big baller homies, they were dipped in some gear. You know what I mean? So it's like you kind of wanted to portray that, emulate that, right?
Right. There is absolutely an aspect of like having to have some specific stuff to fit in with a certain place. So it's not like, I don't want to make people think that it's only about owning the clothes to be cool.
Right.
But like, owning the cool clothes and being a cool guy kind of comes with some cool guy responsibility.
Right. And I think there's also a disconnect or misconception, one could say. It's like they might not understand about like the life culture or the history, like, oh, he's just wearing polo, he's like trying to be a cool guy or whatever, like, oh, but they have no idea about the history, like what the actual sentiment is and why I wear it.
That is one thing about polo. It is probably the easiest brand to be a real poser for. Like you can find polo stuff anywhere.
I'll give you an example. So say there's like a nerdy kid in school, right? But one summer he comes back from school and he's dipped in the low. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or has the harsh shit. Like, so you could go back like to say 2005, he's got all the crooks and castles. He's got all the 10 deep, all the fucking streetwear. And guilty. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, because I think sometimes maybe people, they're not that cool, but they got the money and they get that shit and they somehow slide through the cracks.
Right.
But they're not real ones. It's different if you're a real one. So I think, by talking to someone, you can really gauge and grasp like this dude's with it or this dude's fronting, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
yeah, it is like it. Especially with someone like you who's passionate, like it is a real way to show your character on your sleeve. Like this is like I bleed hard for this brand. Like I'm sure that overflows into other areas in your life.
Well, it's tough. Like it will dominate my wardrobe, bro. Like that's all I wear now. You know what I mean? Like I feel bad, like saying that, and I catch shit for all the time. But they have some nice gear. They have many different varieties. It's not limited to one look. But
and it's not just screen printed T-shirts.
I'm sure you're probably similar way, or the homies over here. You find something like you stick with it, right?
Right.
I mean, consistency is key, and if it fits good, looks good, feels good, you're fucking with it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, it's just something I've been like, it's a weird like tightrope walk I try and do where like I try and keep my.
But the poser point is the biggest one, because that all falls back to me is like with skateboarding. Because when you used to skate, you fucking could skate, try tricks, where you got the guy that has a board and just hangs out.
Yeah, it's
like
a meritocracy. You can't fake it. Either you can kickflip or you can't.
No, for real. You're gonna hit the stairs and fall, or you're not.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I'm too scared. So.
It's gonna take you one time before we.
No, for real.
Well, sick, dude. I think this is awesome. I don't know how long we've been going, but I think you said you got to get out of here. I think I
get another 5 minutes if you want, man. It's up to you
I was
guys.
just going to leave it up to you to give some closing thoughts. If you had anyone else you wanted to up or someone we need to know about.
No, I just want to say the biggest thing for me, I think, to come in here is just like, I think it's really cool to give me opportunity. I mean, a lot of cats wouldn't know me. I'm not out there like I'm not a business owner. Or
I just
think
it's so fucking funny that I knew you from before.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Right. And I reached out to he's like, this is the same guy. What? You know, I'm behind the scenes, I'm an older guy, and I do everything for fun and for enjoyment in life. You know what I'm saying? And I just try to preserve the culture. And it's really cool to see that there is still such a big scene out here.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it's different. And the one thing I look at it is music changes and evolves over the years, right? Like, my parents, they like classic rock, like Led Zeppelin, you know, say some Beatles, but they're not fucking Metallica, you know, and every music changes.
Right.
And so it's about like, you can either accept it or it's like, oh, you know, it is what it is. But for me, I enjoy all music and I'm happy to see people still grinding. That's just evolution in general. Things always change, like it or not, right? Yeah. And the hustle is the biggest thing I can respect. There's a lot of hustles out here. Yeah. Oh, I do want to give another shout out too. You guys familiar with Trust One, the producer?
Trust One? That sounds familiar.
Check him out on YouTube. Like, he's fucked with a lot of cats, bro. He's solid. No, he's OG. He's been doing beats for. He is. He's been doing beats for, man, I want to say at least 20 plus years, bro. Since
low key,
like
we got some producers.
Yeah,
in
and
the city.
he's worked with some cats, bro. And like, you know, he's one of those cats. You know, he's pretty exclusive, and you know, and it makes sense because the music he puts out is dope. No one else is gonna make the sound he does. You know, so I just wanted to shout my boy because that's my good homie. You know, I want to make sure I show love on the radio for everyone, on the podcast. Anything else you think we should chop it up about, man? We cover a lot of good things, you know.
No, I think we're all good, dude. I think this was a perfect podcast, and we'll bring you back on for another episode here soon, dude.
Yeah, we could definitely have some conversation. Went pretty smooth. No, I mean, coming into this, I wasn't sure what to think. Like, man, dude, like, what's going to be going? What we could talk about? But we just like chopped it up smooth. We've been on here over an hour and a half, easy. So
that's how it's supposed to be, brother. It'll transition from one to the next. Nothing you can't talk about. Everything we should talk about.
No, I appreciate it, man. Like I said, I saw you doing this. I was like, oh, that's fucking cool. You know what I mean? Because also like kind of reconnecting with you when I first met you, it was very brief and vague. I didn't know what you're all about, and I can kind of see a bigger picture just from your presence on social media, what you're doing. I thought that was dope, and I respect that shit. So I was like, fucking, what better time to try to tap in again, reconnect, and be part of this, dude.
Appreciate it, brother. Yes. Yeah, we're trying to do big things, you know. I'm trying to show some love. There's a lot of people out there who are doing good work and don't get enough attention. So if I can play a little part and shine some light on them, that's what I'm here to do.
Right. Well, no, like I said, glad things are opening back up. Seems like a lot of people are getting more comfortable again. A lot more good feelings and good vibes. People are out enjoying the weather. So
say that one again for the people in the back. It's good to be opened up.
Man, come on. So I just hope everyone keeps, being healthy, being safe. Families are doing well and enjoying their lives.
Beautiful.
You know what I mean?
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, awesome. This has been Tac'd In with Spencer P. Here with Morgan. Bud, pleasure.
Always.
Let's do it again soon.
Likewise.
Woo!